Let's look at how social media companies do that. Dozens of times a day, many of us grab our digital devices and glance at our favorite social media feeds to see what's happening. And those companies know that the only way they can make money is if what we see in that one glance automatically grabs our attention and we start clicking.
Your attention is very valuable. There's a lot of people who want it, and without realizing it, you can easily lose control of your attention. A million flashing lights, attractive objects, a garden of the lights pull you in different directions throughout your day. We flatter ourselves by thinking we can resist these things. You're kidding yourself. The truth is, we live in environments that are constantly plundering and seizing our attention.
But while social media may be new, the strategy it relies on for plundering our attention was born here in New York nearly 200 years ago. Early in the 19th century, the sellers of the first tabloid newspapers realized that all they had to do was put stories on the front page about murders and sex scandals involving people their readers did not trust, like politicians and rich kids who'd never worked a day in their lives. And average men would almost automatically cough up a penny to see them. And the stories didn't even have to be true.
It was realized as early as the 1830s, when tabloid newspapers got their start, that the fake news, frankly, often sells better than real news. I mean, why be constrained by the facts? Why not feed people exactly what they might want to hear? And the mixture of it seeming true, but having the freedom of fiction creates a perfect product.
Of course, today there is so much more to pay attention to. Every grisly murder is streamed right to your phone, and we're exposed to a constant array of outrageous tweets and sexy clickbait. But here is the key. Though the technology has changed, the strategy for making money is the same. Those tabloids, their product wasn't the news. Their product was the attention of the men who automatically looked at those pictures. The tabloids made huge fortunes selling that product, people's attention, to advertisers. And today, you are not a customer of the social media companies. You are their product. And they're making huge fortunes selling their product, your attention, and that of hundreds of millions of other people, to advertisers.
That's how Google is, that's how Facebook is, that's how Twitter is. It's all about making audiences into products, bundling them in different ways, and selling them to advertisers.
To get your attention so they can then sell it, companies like Facebook try to make it feel like everything you see and hear on their site is coming from your family and friends.
One of the reasons that social media is seen as a valuable advertising platform is this idea that it colonizes a continent which was previously undiscovered, which is the power of friends and family to recommend things to you, in a way that you trust. And so we have an entire generation of technologies built to take advantage of the influence of our friends, family, and other peers on our decisional processes by mimicking those processes, so much so that we don't realize anymore that the people we're listening to aren't really quite our peers, friends, and family, but we still think they are.
One way that Facebook makes it feel like the posts they send us come from our family and friends is to mimic the way actual families and friends tend to view the world through the lens of the same biases. To pull that off, Facebook collects data on the political views contained in the posts that groups of friends share. For instance, do they like Trump? Or do they like Bernie Sanders? Then, the company starts sending lots more posts with the same political slant the group has already embraced, with advertisements attached. And the company's algorithms filter out posts with opposing viewpoints, so the group never sees them. Of course, our real friends keep sharing stuff with us too. But just like Facebook, they tend to only send posts with viewpoints that they are confident we'll agree with. Think about it this way. I'm getting non-stop stuff on this device that's been specially selected for me by a social media company or by my friends. Either way, it's guaranteed to confirm my biases. And so I am like a kid in a candy store. And it's the most wonderful candy store in the world because everything here appeals to me. They only stock the candy that I like and cannot resist.
And the other side has its own candy store. And both sides are convinced that the people who go to the other candy store must be idiots. A former Facebook vice president recognizes the impact his company's business model has had on how we see each other. We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth.
One thing Facebook and other forms of social media do is they give us an opportunity, which then becomes an obligation, to constantly be self-presenting, to be signaling virtues, signaling which side we're on this, that, or the other issue. So we now are constantly taking sides. That makes us more moralistic. At the same time, social media gives us this river of outrage that is constantly reminding us of what group we're in, which is good, and how evil and horrible the other group is. You put these two things together and you get hyper-moralism, hyper-judgmentalism. People are constantly showing off and displaying their moral judgments, and they're bonding with their tribe to hate the other tribe.